there is some fascinating news from the auto sector. For the auto sector, for example, and from the government, and not just for auto sector, anybody who's interested in buying a car in this country, because when we go out and buy cars, and Indians are buying cars like crazy. The reason why auto stocks are doing so well, the demand is absolutely fantastic. Indians are very clear these days. The number of features that they want in cars is only going up. The basic ones, even these days the Honda City Basic has their ADAS features. Similarly, safety features are right now top of mind as far as buying cars are concerned. All cars, keep showing off, Suyash, about the kind of globally attested safety features that they have. For long, we've been wanting one in India where India attests a good safety feature for cars, and officially it was launched today, Kartik. It's called the Bharat NCAP, isn't it?
Absolutely, Krishna. And I think let's not steal the thunder away. Let's just listen into the minister and see what it means, not just to the consumers, but also to India's domestic demand and export potential.
Yes, let's listen to Nitin Gadkari.
Bharat NCAP. People can understand the quality of the product. And now we are going to create awareness in the mind of the customers. And it is really important that they can understand what is the quality of the product. At the same time, I feel that there is a huge domestic demand for higher star rating vehicles in India. One thing you remember, the people are quality conscious. People are very, very quality conscious. Now people are very cautious about the safety. People are very cautious about pollution. People want to use different type of fuel because they are fed up with the pollution. And because there are a lot of people who are facing crucial problems regarding the air pollution also, that is a big challenge. I feel that if new option is there, alternative is there, people are ready to accept that. I am really happy that today, this is really one of the historical day where we are launching this program. And today, we have the report which has given to me that the request to test and certify more than 30 models of different companies under Bharat NCAP has already been received. I am really happy for your response, and I am giving my special thanks to all of you, and particularly the cooperation of auto companies. I am really happy. Now this is the way in which we are marching towards international standards and towards global economy.
Right, we heard from the horse's mouth, Kartik, on these numbers really tell the story. 5 lakh road accidents, 1.5 lakh deaths every year in India. There was always going to be a need for a homegrown safety assessment feature. I just want to, before we go, take it across to our guest, Mr. Shashank Srivastava, who is joining us, Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales at Maruti Suzuki. 30 models already ready to be tested by NCAP. What are your initial thoughts on this system?
Krishna, I think long-awaited, much-deserved safety standard now finally making it to India. My only grouse with the whole announcement is that it is still voluntary for auto companies. It is not mandatory. This government particularly, I am happy to report, has taken road safety more seriously than what we have seen previously in the country, whether it is with respect to seat belts for passengers sitting at the back, whether it is with respect to at least 2 airbags in every car that comes on Indian roads. And now this third decision by way of introduction of Bharat NCAP, I think it's about time that we take safety of passengers, safety of drivers very seriously. And my request to the minister is that lay out a roadmap that beyond, let's say, 1 year to 18 months from now, these ratings become compulsory, and there should be some power vested with the state to not let new car models be launched unless they meet a minimum threshold of safety ratings.
Right. Long awaited, Mr. Shashank Srivastava, long awaited, finally have it, Bharat NCAP, one way or the other, it's like GST, long awaited, we finally have one. It's not perfect, but it's a good start, you'd say?
Absolutely. By the way, just for the information of the viewers, there is obviously mandatory safety standards which already exist. Every vehicle has to go through those mandatory tests, and without passing those mandatory tests, the cars cannot come on the road. So this announcement today goes beyond those mandatory safety standards. So it is not as if mandatory safety standards don't exist. They do exist. They are actually almost on par with Europe. But now we are talking of extra safety over and above the regulation. And that is what the measurement system is about, the GNCAP and the BNCAP. And it's so, and we are very happy. We welcome this step to go beyond the mandatory safety standards. In fact, that would help consumers to make informed choices based on actual ratings, and also the fact that the government of India is behind these ratings, not a private agency like a thing. It is therefore likely to be very authentic and objective, and that's a very positive sign.
So Shashank, hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Just help us understand what are the existing safety features that one does not know of apart from the basic, seat belts and airbags and auto braking systems, and what is it going to entail for car makers to really comply with these new safety features to get a high NCAP rating?
Yeah, so it's not just about features. So we have, these ratings are based on the crash tests, which are done both on the frontal and the side impacts. Crash test, is about 56 kilometer per hour for mandatory, but in B and CAP, it will be at 64 kilometer per hour. So it's a little bit more stringent. On the side crash, of course, it is similar at 50 kmph. So it is not just about features. Of course, features like ESP or for example, the HUD or a 360 camera. These are also additional features, or a ISOFIX, for example, which adds to the safety. The more such features exist, of course, the better the vehicle will perform under these crash conditions, and therefore it's likely to get a better safety rating. The highest being 5. And it's like if you get about 27 points out of about 32, you should get to a 5-star rating. And of course, different vehicles will have a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
But sir, for a vehicle to arrive at the 5-star rating, there are going to be these new added enhancements, if not features. There are going to be enhancements by the automaker, yes. And there is obviously likely to be a price impact and a cost impact for customers by and large. For a company like Maruti, which unfortunately in reports does not seem to be among the safest cars on Indian roads, especially the entry-level cars from the Maruti stable, what does this really mean for Maruti's positioning as a brand on Indian roads, which has been able to sell and survive and thrive, if I may, on account of not expensive cars but very affordable cars?
Yeah, so there is obviously a cost element with every features. By the way, your information on safety for Maruti is not correct. It is many of our vehicles have got extremely good ratings, and you will see that because we will be offering small cars also in the voluntary B and CAP system. There is, by the way, no rating system in India in existence. So I don't know where these reports originate. However, when you look at the B and CAP, which is the first time you are seeing an authentic and objective system being introduced, we will be supplying on a voluntary basis more than 3 of our models initially, and that's what was referred to by the minister as well, which will include our small cars as well. And we will see the ratings. Certainly, it's good because even if there is an additional cost, consumers can make a very informed choice because they have an option to choose basis the safety ratings. And of course, one thing I must tell you here is that the criteria of purchase of vehicles has the weightage for safety has been going up. In fact, it's gone up 3 times in the last 5 years. So it's something which is very important to consumers and hence to the OEMs as well.
Okay, the minister also referred to the pollution aspect, and I'm just trying to grapple with the fact that has safety rating got a direct correlation with the pollution, or are we talking about 2 separate things here, Mr. Srivastava?
Yeah, it's a 2 separate thing, of course. I think what the minister was referring to, the different powertrains which are now available. We have some norms which are relating to emission and norms relating to safety, two separate things. Safety norms is what affects the NCAP ratings. But you have emission norms, of course. Recently, we had the RD norms introduced on the BS6 phase
That's
2.
right.
And going forward, the CAFE norms, which will kick in 27 and also the fourth phase of 2032. Those are extremely heavy, on the emission, very strong on the emission front. In fact, you'll be happy to note that and among all the OEMs in our country, the lowest emission fleet is from Maruti Suzuki. We are at about 304 grams per kilometer of CO2, which is the lowest. And we will obviously, because the emission norms are getting more stringent, we are looking at more powertrain options as a mix of options, including EVs. And of course, CNG, which is also we are also looking at strong hybrids. And there will be a mix of technology, including flexi fuel and biogas fuel, which will help us achieve the emission target set by the government.
Right. I think everybody is waiting with bated breath for the Maruti EV to hit the roads. 2025, we believe, is the target. But coming back to safety, coming back to Bharat NCAP, you didn't answer my question, sir, on the price delta which consumers are likely to pay for safer cars.
So if a car,
is there a calculation that you've made already?
It's simple. If the basic small car from Maruti is stable with, under say 5 lakh rupees, the moment it gets an NCAP certification, does it become 5.5 lakh?
Or a 5-star or a 4-star rating on Bharat NCAP. Does it become a 6 lakh or a 7 lakh car?
Yeah.
Or what is the delta in percentage terms, sir?
So listen, it all depends on what type of additional features to be added or what changes need to be made in vehicles in different segments. So there is no ballpark figure which I can say it's 50,000 or 10,000 or 20,000. It really depends on what the vehicle already has and what the delta in terms of features and changes in the vehicle structure would be in order to calculate the cost. But obviously, one very positive thing is, irrespective of the cost, of course, it is very important. Safety is very important, and therefore it's great to have the BNCAP now that consumers will make those choices basis the ratings, and that's something which is great. By the way, the figure which you showed, 1.5 lakh deaths in the auto industry in India, almost about, I think, 83 or 85% happens on what we call in the two-wheeler and the pedestrian category.
Right.
Okay,
So,
this is data from the minister's speech, so this is data we've picked up from what the minister
overall,
quoted.
it's
But
overall
I think
road
it's the overall
accident
road
deaths.
accident deaths, not
So
specifically car-related deaths.
1.5 lakh is correct.
Right.
1.5 lakh is correct.
Right.
How much is out of car is what I'm saying. 83% is from scooters, two-wheelers and pedestrians.
Fair enough. Point taken, sir. Bharat NCAP, incidentally, India becomes the 5th country to have this crash test safety system after US, China, Japan, and South Korea. Also, Bharat NCAP also means that it can pick up cars randomly for test and attest them so that there's transparency in the procedure, which means that all cars made in India and imported into India, Bharat NCAP will be doing random tests to make sure the procedure is transparent. In a sense, talk to us about Bharat NCAP vis-a-vis other countries who have similar systems.
Yes. So if your question is about the random, yes, it is random across. So you have and remember, the lowest variant of any model will be chosen. The vehicle will be picked up randomly. So often it happens that the top end variants have got more features than safety features than the lower end variant. But clearly the specification here is that for ratings of any model, it will depend on the safety rating of the lowest variant of that model, and that will be done at a random. Of course, manufacturers on their own can offer the higher end variant as well for testing, which can also be separately tested. So it's a very fair system, I think.
Fair enough. What I was asking is that you already have 4 countries who have their own testing system, safety testing system. How do you rate India's own testing system, knowing the inner workings of what they're doing? Or, are they on par, or are we beating global standards?
Absolutely on par, I would say, because without the testing standards being facilities being at par, you cannot have these norms unless you measure. You won't be able to give the ratings. So you need to have those facilities to measure. And I'm happy to say that India has it, and that's why today we have the VNCAP system in India.
Now, of the 30 cars that the minister was referring to, sir, you said 3 cars are already from the Maruti stable. Is that right, sir?
We are offering minimum 3 cars, including small cars.
Which are these 3 cars, if you could tell our viewers?
Actually, it is the Baleno, the Brezza, and also the Grand Vitara, which we have
all
so far.
top-selling
And
models.
of course,
Top selling
Yeah.
models. What about the WagonR and the Alto and the Celerio? Are these likely to make it to the testing also sometime soon, sir? I believe
Surely, I
October
think
is
so.
when we
Surely.
initiate the testing.
Surely, because we have 18 models, we can't offer all 18 immediately. So, so we are offering both small and the mid size as well. So I'm happy to see this number going up in the future.
And sir, since you're with us, and we'll not miss this opportunity of also asking you about Maruti's EV plans. What can we expect in 2025? What sort of a car is on the drawing board and being piloted right now? Would it be in the hot selling SUV category, or would Maruti start its foray into EV with a smaller sized car?
No, it will be in the SUV category. It's a mid SUV vehicle. In fact, the prototype, the vehicle was displayed at the Auto Expo in January. It's called the EVX, and it will be introduced sometime in 2024-25 financial year. We are currently making all preparations towards that, and hopefully we'll make a good mark in the EV space as well.
So, do you think the e-mobility highways, the infrastructure, the charging facilities, battery swapping facilities, is all of that moving at the right pace for India's mission to have 30% of its four-wheelers electric by 2030 to be realized?
I think our projection for the cars, passenger vehicles, is about 17% by 2030. And we have seen that the adoption of EVs in different countries, there is a point of inflection at around 4%. 4 to 5% of adoption, that it suddenly goes up. That currently is at 2.4% at the moment. We are expecting in 24-25 to reach that 4.5%, at which time you would see that inflection point being reached, and then increase in the adoption rate for EVs. But one of the big hindrances for the adoption of EVs in the country today is, one, the battery cost, which is not yet localized and hence imported, and therefore quite expensive. It forms about 50% of the 45 to 50% of the cost of the EV production. And also the second part, which is the charging infrastructure, which is still not fully, I would say, ready for customer convenience. So Maruti Suzuki, as you know, Suzuki has made investments towards the localization of the battery, which should give us a very competitive position in terms of the prices, and also in terms of the charging infrastructure. There is a lot of good work being done by the government as also with the private players, and we are now looking at how to put it all together so that the customers don't find inconvenience as far as charging is concerned. So in that sense, we are at the right time in 2024-25 to introduce the first EV from Maruti Suzuki.
Any input, sir, on the battery swapping program scheme that the government has been wanting to launch? And are these batteries that go into every Maruti vehicle, Maruti Suzuki vehicle, likely to be homogeneous? Is it easy to replace one battery with another, no matter which model of car you have?
No, so battery swapping is still for cars not there. There are some two-wheelers and three-wheelers where you see that. Battery swapping is not really something which is happening in the passenger vehicle space. Moreover, as we expect that it's an evolving field, and as it evolves, we'll see some sort of a uniformity in specifications. At the moment, though, it is just a charging of the battery which is there. And remember, the battery is pretty heavy, and it's not so easy as a two-wheeler to just take out the battery and replace. replace it.
Right. And any specific expectations from the government on FAME 3? As FAME 3 is already in the works, is there something that the four-wheeler passenger vehicle segment should expect from FAME 3?
Listen, we have said that we believe that emission, to achieve emission norms, we would have to have a bunch of technologies. It's not as if there is one technology which one has to pursue, but there will be a mix. We have already announced that by 2030, Maruti Suzuki will have about 15% EV, 25% strong hybrids, and 60% on the CNG, flex fuel, and biogas fuel, the ICE vehicles. So all technologies would coexist in our opinion, and that's what we are working at. And on the specific point of what government can do, of course, we are saying that basis the pollution levels, on that basis of emission, actually CNG and hybrids are a very, very good option, and the government should consider having some sort of a advantage for these vehicles as well.
Okay.
Right. Mr. Shashank Srivastava, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all the lowdown and everything we need to understand from NCAP to EVs, just about the entire spectrum of things. But pleasure having you as part of Business Plus on News 9 Live. Great to have you. Hope to keep having you on the show with the latest updates from Maruti Suzuki on the show. But for now, we'll let go of you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.